Hello fellow YouTubers, Bear Prepper here. So what you seem to be looking at today is a swarm. It is adorable. It flew in one day, and so I sat and I waited, and I waited, and I waited for it to fly into my beautiful top bar hive. And I kept seeing them going in, and you'll notice at the bottom of that top bar hive, there is a board. And there's a little gap in there. And they kept trying to seal it, but they couldn't. So we ran out to the store and we bought a Langstrom hive. It's like an all-in-one starter kit. So Pet's unpacking it and going to be putting it together. And that's Riley, my daughter's dog. Isn't he gorgeous? But we're going to unpack this, and she's looking at all the stuff. This one actually includes a plastic section for water. So you can add sugar water or just plain water into their hive. And of course, you know, these are starter tools. It was what was available at Tractor Supply. They didn't have a lot of the individual ones available. You had to order them, and you know, with a swarm, you have like 24 hours, and then it moves on. So Pet gets out here because I'm still healing from my hospital stay, and she does an amazing job moving these bees into the hive. And she has no fear of these bees. They really like her too. Something about her, I guess because she works with animals. She does amazing. So the beekeeping is now going to be Pet's job. She's putting on the boards and the lid, and we're going to leave it here. Now, the problem is we don't want to leave this in the orchard because it's there with the chickens. And that's not always good because chickens do eat bees. So we're going to have to move this, and so we're going to be taking a risk. And so now we're just looking to make sure that the bees are actually going into the hive from above and not just staying and flying back up. As you see, we've got bees going in. I did put some pheromones into that to help force them to go in. I don't know if that was a good idea or not with the queen in there. So somebody who's used to doing bees, let me know if I should or shouldn't do that ever again. It was interesting when it came time to take that back out. They attacked me. So I should have been in full bee gear, but Pet was in bee gear and I wasn't. And when it got in my hands, that was it. They thought I was taking their queen, and they started attacking me. And so I had to run away. But as you see, some of the bees are starting to pull back up, and I think that's because her pheromones are still right up there on the plate. And so we're discussing whether or not we should sweep them back down onto the hive. And so we do decide to all the bees that were planning on coming. Hey, Pat.
Hey, Bear.
We got bees.
Yay.
It was really interesting. The very next day, it made me so sad. There was a swarm. You would not believe the size that flew overhead. And of course it went too far. I wasn't able to capture it. But I mean, it was a huge swarm, not this itty bitty little ball. And so I was very sad that I missed it. But I guess I'm very happy because it might have been very difficult to move that hive if it had been a huge swarm. Whereas this was very small, it made the hive light. So we moved it probably about 500 feet. Now here we're checking it a week later. So we moved it about 500 feet, which they say, you know, if it's less than a mile, you can't move it unless you move it away 3 miles and bring it back. But there's also things that say that you can move it. So we went ahead and took that chance and we moved it. We did lose some of the bees, but then we just fed them sugar water to kind of help them bulk back up. As you see, it's a small group. This is 2 weeks later. We had some issues with the videos coming off of our phones, and so I had to use a converter, and it looks like it just kind of stretched it. So please know everything's a little wider, but it had some really good footage in it, so I didn't want to lose it. She's filling out the sugar water because they still only take up about 1/4 of 4 bars, and that's just not enough to keep them okay in the summertime, because they're going to be looking for water so much. Now I do have a trough available that they can come get water, and I put rocks in it so that they won't drown. So there you go. We now have bees. Blessings.